Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. Today we're going to be talking about all the 10-speed issues I've had with my Mustang. I have a 2019 Mustang GT with the 10-speed transmission, and while it has been really fun, I've experienced some issues. I know 10-speed transmission can be quirky, so if you have one or you're considering buying a used one, this will be very helpful for you to know what to look out for. I'm going to detail every little thing that I've had with this 10-speed transmission and what it was required to fix it. The car has 40,000 miles and I've had to take it to the dealer about 3 times for the 10-speed transmission issues, so I'm hoping this video will be helpful. Not only I'm going to break down what the issues were, but what exactly was required to fix the 10-speed transmission. As it sits right now, the 10-speed transmission works as intended, more or less. It can be a little bit quirky, but that's not really an issue compared to what I used to have. There were two different instances where I've had issues with the 10-speed transmission. Both were different problems, so it's not like something came back. Both were different problems, so I'm going to go ahead and go over those and what the solution was for them. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing transmission, but it can be a little quirky and some of the issues aren't really pleasant, especially when you have a car like that. I bought it brand new, hoping to not have any 10-speed transmission issues, but here we are. So let's go ahead and get out on the road and talk about all the 10-speed transmission issues I've had with my Mustang GT. Now, just a quick side note that the 10-speed transmission was introduced to the Mustang in the 2018 model year. It was pretty much more or less the same transmission tuning until 2020 or 2021. That's when Ford decided to revise the software tuning a little bit on the transmission, which resulted in a smoother shifts and all of that. So if you are considering a used Mustang and the price difference isn't as much, I would recommend you go for a 2020 and above Mustang, whether it's the EcoBoost or the GT. Alright, so let's talk about the 10-speed transmission issues I've had with my Mustang. So the very first issue I actually got was that there was a harsh jerk when I would be downshifting on the highway, let's say when I'm in the 10th gear, all the way to 6 or below gear. And this actually started happening, I want to say around 4,000 or 5,000 miles that I had on my car. So it was very early into the ownership and actually got me a little bit concerned because at that time, the 10-speed transmission was pretty new to the Ford family or the Mustang family. And I just was not sure if this was going to be the right move to keep this car for the long term. So I took it to the dealer and basically talked to them. So the issue I was really having is, I had them replicate and all of that, was that if you're in normal mode, in drive, not the selector in shift or the shifter being in S mode, and if you were on the highway, you were in the 10th gear and you gave it some gas to downshift, if it dropped to 6th gear or below, you would get a very, very harsh downshift. And that was pretty much 90% of the time it would happen. Now, the funny thing is, if you dropped it just enough from the 10th to 9th gear and then you did the same thing where you dropped it to 6 or below, it would be fine. There would be no issues. If you dropped from 10 to 8 and then dropped it below to 6, it would be no issues. It would only happen if the transmission was in 10th gear and the kick down or the downshift would result the car to be in a gear 6 or lower, and that's when I would experience it. Even sport mode it would happen, but mainly experience it in the normal mode. So I took it to the dealership, I explained the whole situation to them. They were thankfully able to replicate the issue, and they found that there was a corrupted file in the adaptive learning software that the transmission had. So they deleted they deleted the file, they updated the software for the transmission, and everything was fine. So that was one of the first issues I had, again, very early on into the ownership, and had me a little bit concerned, but thankfully it was resolved with just a simple software update. But something that really shouldn't be happening for a brand new car. So I pretty much chalked it off to the 10-speed transmission being new to Ford and the Mustang family, so Ford is still trying to figure it out, and hopefully after that everything is going to be good, but that was not the case. I experienced another thing with the 10-speed transmission, and that was like after, I want to say around 30,000 miles or so, where I've had the car, again it was still stock, no tune or anything, where I started experiencing a very aggressive upshifting in sport mode only in 3rd gear and 5th gear. And the funny thing about that is that even though it was upshifting harsh, this would only happen if you were giving it partial throttle. So if I was flooring it and the upshift would be in 3rd or 5th gear, it would be buttery smooth or, a little bit aggressive that you kind of expect from sport mode, but nothing concerning. With the upshifting, if you were doing partial throttle, it would pretty much shake the entire car where it just was not fun. And first couple times it happened, I ignored it because I didn't think that was a big of an issue. But then I realized it was happening pretty much every time if I was partial throttle, like maybe shifting to like 4,000, 5,000 RPM, it would result in an extremely harsh upshift. Luckily, I went to the dealer, I explained the whole situation to them. They were very understanding of the situation. They were able to replicate the issue. That's the good thing with these. Like, once, I mean, I don't know if I can say a good thing, but once you start having issue with a 10-speed transmission, you can easily replicate them. It's not like your car's going to sit there because it's mostly software issues, not hardware related issues. So anyway, I took the car to the dealership, explained the issues. They were able to replicate what I was having issues with, and they said it's going to be another software update. I was covered under warranty, so this one was also free, but they updated the transmission software on my Mustang. It was a TSP out there, and since then, it's been pretty much good. I haven't had any issues since they've updated the transmission software. I've been tuned since then, and I haven't had to deal with any of the issues with the Mustang and the 10-speed transmission. So the good thing is that 10-speed transmission issues can be or most likely will be resolved by just a simple software update, but it is pretty annoying that you're going to have to deal with that. Of course, if you're considering buying a used one that is not going to be under warranty, I highly recommend you make sure the transmission is working as intended. Otherwise, you'll be paying almost $400 to $500 for the diagnostics and for them to update the transmission software. Now, the other issue I've had, or not really have had on my personal Mustang, but have experienced it personally on 10-speed Mustangs, is if you were to shift it from park to reverse or reverse to drive, the car would shake very violently. And I haven't had it on my personal car, but I've rented a couple Mustang EcoBoosts where it had that issue, and there it would just be very random. Some mornings it would do it, some mornings it won't do it. And if you look at some of the Facebook pages, Mustang forums, you will see how common that issue is. Again, no really solution for it in terms of hardware related, um, since I haven't personally experienced it. But I would say that if you do get a software update, it should resolve it, and you shouldn't be having harsh jerkness. The good thing with this 10-speed transmission is that most issues seem to be software related, which is less of a concern compared to hardware related. But I do recommend, if you are buying a used Mustang with the 10-speed transmission, to kind of go through those scenarios I just basically spoke about in the video, to really make sure that you're not going to experience any issues down the road. Because while they were free, or they were covered free for me under the warranty, if you're buying one that's outside the warranty, you're going to have to pay close to $300 to $500 to get that fixed in terms of the software update. So that's not fun if you're buying a used Mustang. Other than that, I actually love this 10-speed transmission. It puts the car in the power bin with the Mustang GT, the Gen 3 Coyote motor. And of course, it's got really good gas mileage because it's got 10 gears. I've experienced up to 27 to 28 miles per gallon on some of the road trips. The highest I've seen on the Mustang GT was actually 29.4, which just blows me that you have a 460 horsepower car making 460 horsepower with the 5-liter engine, giving you like 29 miles per gallon on the highway. But yeah, so that's all the issues I've had with the Mustang personally and on some of the rental Mustangs I've had. I hope this video helps you guys out. Comment below if you're considering a used Mustang, and of course subscribe to Red 50 for more videos.